In romantic stories, love is often portrayed as a fateful collision between two souls. Is there some important aspect we're missing, something more subtle that really keeps the fire burning? We often think of love as something that just happens, something spontaneous, uncontrollable, and purely emotional. In movies and stories, love is depicted as a rush of passion, a whirlwind of desire, and a series of impulsive decisions made in the heat of the moment. It's painted as an all-consuming force, a cosmic alignment of souls, or a magnetic pull that defies logic. While these romanticized notions can be beautiful and inspire grand gestures, they often fall short of describing the intricate, nuanced reality of a relationship that truly endures. In real life, the kind of love that lasts, the kind that nourishes rather than drains, that uplifts rather than diminishes, is built on something far more balanced and deliberate. A conscious partnership between the heart and the mind. It's not just about how deeply you feel. It's also crucially about how wisely you love. That's where the transformative idea of smart love comes in. A kind of love where both IQ, intellectual intelligence, and EQ, emotional intelligence, are fully engaged, respected, and utilized. It's a paradigm shift from viewing love as purely serendipitous to seeing it as a cultivated craft. When both intellectual acuity and emotional depth show up consistently and collaboratively in a relationship, something profoundly powerful happens. Love transcends mere chemistry or superficial compatibility. It becomes conscious. It becomes thoughtful. It becomes incredibly durable and resilient, capable of weathering the inevitable storms of life and growing stronger through them. Let's delve deeper into what it truly means to love with both your heart and your head, exploring the individual strengths of IQ and EQ, and the remarkable synergy they create when woven together in the tapestry of a relationship. The foundation of smart love, emotional intelligence, EQ, the heart's wisdom. At the very foundation of any strong, healthy, and enduring relationship lies emotional intelligence, the quiet, often unspoken, yet profoundly impactful skill that empowers us to understand not just our own emotions, but also to intuitively grasp our partner's moods, needs, fears, and vulnerabilities without them having to explicitly spell everything out. It's the subtle art of reading between the lines, of sensing the unspoken, and of responding with empathy rather than reactivity. EQ is what allows us to pause and breathe before reacting impulsively to a perceived slight or disagreement. It encourages us to empathize deeply before jumping to judgment or drawing premature conclusions. It enables us to remain soft, open, and receptive even when conflict inevitably arises, preventing disagreements from escalating into destructive battles. Someone with genuinely strong emotional intelligence doesn't just listen for the sake of responding, or to formulate their next point in an argument. They listen with the profound intention to understand, to truly absorb their partner's perspective, and to validate their experience. They actively create and maintain a sacred space within the relationship where it feels unequivocally safe to be fully human, with all its imperfections and raw edges. In this emotionally intelligent space, tears are never perceived as a sign of weakness, but as an honest expression of pain or vulnerability. Silence is not interpreted as rejection or disinterest, but perhaps as a need for reflection or space. This kind of consistent, attuned presence, this emotional steadiness, born from self-awareness and empathy, forms the bedrock of a relationship where both individuals feel genuinely held, seen, and heard. It's a space where both people can breathe freely, drop their masks, and show up fully, authentically, and without fear of judgment or invalidation. Consider a common scenario. When one person in a relationship says, "I feel hurt by that comment," emotional intelligence equips the other partner to respond with a genuine, open-ended inquiry like, "Tell me more about what's going on for you," or "Help me understand how that made you feel." This is in stark contrast to an emotionally unintelligent or defensive response, such as, "Why are you always so sensitive?" Or "I didn't mean anything by it, you're overreacting." EQ allows for these critical moments of vulnerability to become powerful bridges that deepen connection and understanding. rather than becoming breaking points that widen the emotional chasm between partners. In this profound way, EQ acts as the essential emotional safety net of love. It is the fundamental reason people feel not just heard on a superficial level, but truly held, understood, and supported in their deepest emotional landscapes. The manifestation of EQ in a loving partnership extends far beyond mere empathy. It encompasses the vital ability to recognize and skillfully manage one's own emotions, preventing them from overwhelming rational thought or dictating impulsive behaviors. Concurrently, it involves a sophisticated awareness and profound understanding of the other person's emotional states. It's not just about feeling for them, but also about the capacity to intelligently adjust one's own behavior based on that deep comprehension. For instance, a person with high EQ will recognize that their partner's sudden quietness after a long, stressful workday might not be a sign of anger or disinterest, but rather an indication of exhaustion and a need for personal space. Instead of immediately bombarding them with questions or demanding attention, they will opt for a gentler approach, perhaps offering a comforting presence, asking if they're okay, or simply allowing them to decompress before initiating deeper conversation. This subtle yet powerful discernment fosters an environment of respect and emotional attunement. Another crucial component of EQ is self-regulation, the masterful ability to manage one's impulses and emotions. In the heat of an argument, an individual with high EQ possesses the awareness to recognize when they are becoming overly heated or defensive, and can consciously choose to take a step back to regain composure. They will not allow negative emotions to hijack their actions, leading to regrettable words or behaviors. Instead, they might calmly request a timeout, committing to revisit the discussion once both partners have had a chance to calm down and reflect. This deliberate act demonstrates mutual respect and an unwavering commitment to keeping the dialogue constructive, rather than allowing it to devolve into destructive accusations and blame. When utilized effectively and conscientiously, IQ brings an unparalleled level of clarity to the relationship dynamic. It's the part of your mind that observes that the same argument or disagreement keeps resurfacing, not necessarily because you're fundamentally incompatible, but perhaps because your communication styles inherently clash, or because there's an unresolved root issue beneath the surface. IQ considers what needs to fundamentally change to break these cycles. It's the intelligence that prompts you to intentionally plan thoughtful date nights, not just as a mere obligation, but as a strategic investment in maintaining connection and novelty. It considers how to proactively resolve potential conflicts before they fester and grow into resentment. It masterfully balances the heart's deepest desires with the practical realities and logistical demands of daily life, ensuring that passion is grounded in sustainability. It's crucial to understand that IQ in love is not about who possesses a higher academic degree, or who is inherently smarter in a traditional sense. Rather, it's about the practical application of logical thinking, problem-solving skills, and the capacity to make sound, informed decisions based on available information and objective analysis. For example, a couple might be madly in love, but without a foundational level of IQ applied to their shared life, they could consistently encounter financial difficulties because neither partner takes the initiative to plan a budget, track expenditures, or strategically invest for their future. IQ empowers them to see the broader financial picture, anticipate potential pitfalls, and collaboratively devise practical, sustainable solutions. Furthermore, IQ plays a vital role in helping couples establish and maintain healthy, respectful boundaries. When one partner constantly feels taken advantage of or hurt by the other's behavior, IQ enables them to logically analyze the situation, to identify whether the problematic behavior is an isolated incident or part of a recurring pattern, and then to make a rational, conscious decision about how to clearly and assertively communicate those boundaries. This might involve firmly saying no to unreasonable requests, or proposing alternative solutions that ensure both individuals feel respected and their needs are met. This intellectual clarity prevents resentment from building, and ensures the relationship operates on a foundation of mutual respect. Beyond problem solving, IQ also significantly contributes to a couple's capacity for continuous learning and adaptation within the relationship. Life is inherently dynamic and ever-changing. For instance, if a couple consistently finds themselves engaged in heated arguments late at night when both are exhausted, IQ can help them intellectually recognize this counterproductive pattern and logically decide to shift discussions about important or sensitive issues to a different time of day when both are more rested, alert, and calm. This intelligent adaptation transforms potential points of friction into opportunities for growth and refinement. The magic of synergy, when EQ and IQ work together. Herein lies the profound magic, when emotional intelligence and intellectual intelligence work in concert. In a harmonious and integrated fashion, love transcends its individual components and truly blossoms into a powerful, co-creative partnership. In such a dynamic, one partner might intuitively notice the subtle emotional undercurrents of a situation, sensing unspoken tension or latent hurt, EQ, while the other might precisely name the recurring dysfunctional pattern that led to it, IQ. One partner might instinctively reach out to reconnect and offer reassurance after a difficult conversation, EQ, while the other consciously ensures that the underlying issue doesn't merely get swept under the rug, but is addressed constructively to prevent future recurrence, IQ. Together, this integrated approach allows them to intentionally create a relationship that is simultaneously deeply nurturing, emotionally safe, and remarkably resilient. This kind of smart relationship doesn't merely survive the inevitable highs and lows, the periods of intense joy, and the inevitable moments of profound challenge. It actively grows through them. This isn't because the couple magically never argues or faces hardship. Rather, it's because they are equipped with both the sophisticated emotional tools and the crystal-clear mental clarity to navigate these difficulties without resorting to tearing each other down, undermining trust, or causing irreparable damage. They possess the ability to step back, regulate, analyze, and then re-engage with a shared purpose, to understand, to solve, and to strengthen their bond. A smart relationship isn't about striving for an unrealistic ideal of perfection, where conflicts are non-existent and disagreements are unheard of. On the contrary, it's profoundly about being present, authentic, and engaged in the ongoing process of mutual growth. It's about possessing the emotional fortitude to sit with your partner's pain or discomfort without feeling an immediate, overwhelming need to fix it or make it disappear. It's about having the intellectual honesty to acknowledge and articulate your own fears and insecurities without projecting them onto your partner or demanding that they alleviate your discomfort. It's the deep, foundational knowledge that love is not about the absence of problems. Rather, it's about the shared, courageous commitment to learning how to face those problems side by side as a unified, intelligent, and emotionally aware team. The synergy between EQ and IQ allows a couple to not only feel deeply, but also to act wisely. When emotions run high EQ, logic and reason, IQ, serve as a crucial governor, preventing impulsive, regrettable decisions. When a complex practical problem arises, IQ helps them analyze it objectively, breaking it down into manageable parts, while EQ ensures that the problem-solving process remains empathetic, respectful of each other's feelings, and collaborative. Consider a major life decision, such as purchasing a home. EQ would enable the couple to understand and validate each other's anxieties and excitement about the significant financial commitment. They might offer mutual reassurance, listen to unspoken fears about future security, and acknowledge the emotional weight of such a step. Simultaneously, IQ would empower them to meticulously research the housing market, calculate their budget with precision, compare different mortgage options, and devise a robust long-term financial plan. If they relied solely on EQ, they might make an emotionally driven decision based on a dream house that's financially unsustainable. If they relied solely on IQ, they might overlook their partner's emotional concerns, making them feel unheard or pressured. When both intelligences are integrated, they arrive at a decision that is not only financially sound and sustainable, but also emotionally resonant and mutually agreed upon. Another powerful aspect of this combined intelligence is the capacity for continuous shared learning and evolution. When confronted with a challenge, a couple practicing smart love doesn't just overcome it. They extract profound lessons from the experience. EQ helps them recognize the emotional impact of the challenge on their relationship and on each individual. IQ helps them analyze the root causes, brainstorm creative solutions, and implement necessary changes to avoid repeating the same issues in the future. This creates a positive feedback loop of growth and learning, significantly strengthening the relationship over time and transforming obstacles into opportunities for deeper connection and maturity. The imbalance, when only one person brings maturity to the table. But what happens when only one person consistently brings this high level of emotional and intellectual maturity to the table? This is a common and often painful reality in many relationships. Sometimes you find yourself in a dynamic where you are perpetually giving more than you are receiving. You are consistently the one initiating the tough, necessary conversations. You are the one who instinctively holds sacred space for your partner's vulnerabilities. You are the one who readily apologizes, reflects deeply on your own contributions to conflict, and actively seeks to grow and evolve. And slowly, subtly, it begins to feel as though the entire weight of the relationship is being carried by you, not genuinely shared. The burden of emotional labor and rational problem solving falls disproportionately on your shoulders. When that significant imbalance persists, it is, by its very nature, unsustainable. Emotional intelligence, when unreciprocated, can tragically transform into emotional labor and exhausting, one-sided effort to manage, understand, and navigate the emotional landscape for both partners. It becomes a draining exercise rather than a nourishing exchange. Similarly, intellectual clarity, when not met with reciprocal engagement or effort, can morph into profound loneliness. You find yourself constantly making sense of the chaos, analyzing patterns, and devising solutions, while your partner consistently refuses to engage, to take ownership, or to participate in the mental heavy lifting required for a healthy partnership. Smart love isn't just about who you inherently are, how emotionally intelligent or intellectually capable you are as an individual. More importantly, it's about who you consciously choose to love, and whether that chosen partner is equally willing to commit to the journey of growth, self-awareness, and mutual effort alongside you. This doesn't imply that your partner needs to be perfect, flawless, or already possess the same level of developed EQ and IQ as you, far from it. But they absolutely need to be willing to learn from their mistakes, willing to try new approaches, willing to take responsibility for their words and actions, and willing to engage in the sometimes uncomfortable work of self-improvement and relational growth. Love truly becomes smart when it ceases to be a passive experience and transforms into an active, collaborative endeavor, when both individuals consciously take ownership of their respective parts in making it work, in nurturing its health, and in ensuring its longevity. This lack of reciprocity not only exhausts the caring partner, but also significantly hinders the relationship's overall growth. The less engaged partner is neither encouraged nor given the necessary opportunities to develop their own EQ and IQ within the context of the loving partnership. They may become overly dependent or simply remain oblivious to the immense effort their partner is expanding. Smart love demands active participation from both sides, a shared commitment to learning, adapting, and collaboratively navigating challenges. If only one person is consistently making the effort, it's not smart love. It's a recipe for burnout and eventual resentment. How to cultivate this kind of love? A path of self-awareness and intentional practice. So, how do you intentionally cultivate this profound, balanced, and sustainable kind of love in your own life? It begins, unequivocally, with you. You embark on this journey by first and foremost committing to a deep, ongoing process of self-discovery and self-understanding. This involves diligently learning about your own unique emotional patterns. What triggers you into defensive reactions? What brings you joy? What drains your energy? It means noticing and naming your attachment wounds, understanding how past experiences might unconsciously influence your present relational behaviors. It requires a clear, honest assessment of your needs, not just within the context of love, but across all facets of your life. You begin by being radically honest, not just with others, but most importantly, with yourself. This self-awareness forms the bedrock upon which all smart relational choices are built. Then you commit to consistent, deliberate practice. This is where theory translates into lived experience. Concurrently, you learn to think strategically about your relationship. You reflect dispassionately on whether a particular conflict or dynamic is an isolated incident or if it signals a deeper, recurring pattern that needs systemic attention. You consciously consider whether the love you are receiving feels genuinely expansive and growth-promoting, or if it feels limiting, constricting, or emotionally draining. You cultivate the ability to remain grounded amidst emotional turbulence, not by suppressing or denying your emotions, but by holding them with a clear, wise understanding, allowing them to inform rather than control your actions. Because, at its core, smart love is not about being emotionless or detached, quite the opposite. It's about being emotionally intentional. It's about bringing conscious awareness, wisdom, and strategic thought to the very fabric of your feelings and interactions. The conclusion: a sustainable and holistic love. In the final analysis, smart love is a beautiful paradox. It is simultaneously tender and wise. It is warm, passionate, and deeply feeling, yet it remains firmly grounded in reality, never veering into naivety or blind idealism. It is honest and transparent, fostering genuine intimacy without ever being cruel or unnecessarily harsh. It gracefully allows for mésalliances, recognizing that human relationships are inherently imperfect, but it vigilantly ensures that the mess does not become the entrenched norm or a persistent state of dysfunction. It practices forgiveness with compassion and understanding, yet it never forgets the valuable lessons learned from past mistakes, integrating them into future behavior. It dreams big dreams, envisioning a shared, vibrant future, but it also diligently plans, taking concrete, practical steps to make those dreams a reality. Ultimately, smart love engages both the profound depths of feeling and the sharp clarity of thought. When intellectual intelligence and emotional intelligence truly walk into the heart together, in a balanced and synchronized dance, love transcends the simplistic notion of merely finding someone who completes you. Instead, it transforms into something far more profound and empowering. It becomes about consciously creating a sacred, expansive space where both of you, as unique individuals, can courageously become more of yourselves, not less, not smaller, not compromised, diluted, or diminished by the relationship, but more whole, more aware, more authentically human. That is precisely what makes love not just intensely beautiful and exhilarating, but also profoundly sustainable and endlessly enriching. And in a contemporary world often characterized by fleeting passions, superficial connections, and transactional relationships, that kind of deeply integrated, intelligent love is unequivocally worth building, with intention, with effort, and with fierce protection. It is a testament to the power of a love that is not just felt, but also deeply understood, wisely cultivated, and perpetually nurtured. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.